Hey there guys, what's going on? In this best class setups in Modern Warfare series, we're back with another spicy one today. As I mentioned in a couple of videos already, the 357 Snake Shot took a massive L with some pretty large nerfs, and now it's not one of the most busted weapons in the game. But what normally happens in Call of Duty when something does get nerfed, people do move on to the next most busted thing, and that's why we are here today. We are of course taking another look at the Akimbo Renettis, which are currently dominating the sidearm scene. You basically just burst everything down before anyone has a chance to do anything. But just before we do get into this class setup here, let's try and get this video to 30 likes. The support from you guys has continued to be fantastic recently. All the likes, comments, and views help me by letting me know that you are enjoying the content. So make sure you do click that subscribe button with those notifications turned on so you don't miss any more of these videos. We are super close to 1,500 subscribers now, which is really wild. So we're just going to jump straight into our Akimbo Renetti class here. Alright, so we're going to start with the perks, primary, and grenade choices here because they're a little bit different to my usual class setups. If you are planning on running this as a primary, you've got pretty much two choices here. You want either the riot shield to protect you from behind and for maximum toxicity. People really do hate riot shields in this game. Or we can take the MP5, and if we set it up like this with the monolithic integral suppressor, the FTAC collapsible stock, the Merc foregrip, the 45 round mags, and the most important one, the fully loaded perk, which is just there. Basically what this does is with the fully loaded perk, we do get maximum ammo. So we get maximum starting ammo for both of our weapons, including the MP5 and also the Renetti, which is super powerful. Just having maximum bullets is a really powerful option. If you are looking to run this just as a sidearm though, you can choose pretty much whatever excellent primary you choose, including the trick with this MP5 class here if you are interested in that. In the perk 1 slot, we do of course want EOD or quick fix depending on whatever game we run into. EOD is of course for not dying to those explosives, and quick fix does get that health regeneration started as soon as we do get a kill. Perk 2, we do of course want Ghost to stay off of those UAVs, which allows us to get close to our enemies, sneak around the map and flank and stuff like that. This really does allow us to be stealthy and move around the edges like I said, and then you combine this with our third perk, which is of course Tracker, which allows us to see enemy footprints. You see markers at enemy death locations, and it does hide the death markers of enemies that you do kill. We usually do rock the C4 in the lethal slot. In our aggressive classes, it's a super powerful option to just chuck over walls and stuff like that. If you are playing a little bit slower, maybe a proximity mine or a claymore would also do a very good job. And the tactical is of course always this stim shot, just basically because getting that extra chance per life is super powerful. Alright, so we are going to talk about our attachments here, showing them off at the start of the video, so the guys who are just looking for the class setup don't have to wait to go shred people. These particular attachments here do make us an absolute melt machine up close, and in these particular slots we do have the MK3 burst mod, which does give us our fire rate and 3-round burst. It's probably the most interesting barrel in the game for sure. We do of course get the 1mW laser, or of course the 5mW option, the lightweight trigger, the 27-round mags, and of course the Akimbo perk. We're obviously not going to be super effective at longer ranges with this, but we can still get 2 to 3 burst kills on people at medium range, out to roughly 20 meters or so. Like with the rest of the Akimbo perks in the pistol slot, we do have to unlock this with a challenge, which sees us having to get 3 kills without dying in 5 different games with the Mo Money perk attached, which is actually really easy. If you are ever feeling super spicy, you can definitely run this as a primary like we're doing in the gameplay in the background. You're never going to be super effective, like depending on how you play, you can get taken out pretty easily, but it is lots of fun to do this. 1 to 2 bursting people is super satisfying on those close range maps, but it is also a very effective sidearm on pretty much any class. It's probably even better than the 357 Snake Shot now after the nerfs. If you are dipping out of the video at this stage, I do appreciate you stopping by, of course. I will see you in the next one, but for the rest of you, we're going to talk about our attachments in more detail like we always do. Right, so starting off with our detailed look at the attachments here, we're looking at the barrel slot first. In this barrel slot, we do have the MK3 burst mod. This is one of the more interesting barrels in the game, of course. With this, we do get burst fire and, of course, a pretty large increase to our fire rate. Like I said, this is one of the more interesting barrel options in the game. Adding a burst fire to this pretty much enables our whole class. At close to medium range, we're able to get 1 to 2 burst kills, which is pretty wild. You basically just delete people. It pretty much makes the time to kill essentially 0. Like, nobody has a chance to react if you are in the right ranges with this. We're not going to be super effective at longer ranges, like I said earlier, but we will struggle against SMGs and assault rifles outside of like our 20-meter range, but that's not really where we should be using these things anyway. Even if we are running this as our main weapon, we might have an MP5 or something like that just to help us out at those longer ranges. This is a super powerful weapon in multiplayer, and we're going to be taking a look at this in Warzone to see if it is the new Akimbo Snake Shot. We will see about that one though. So of course in the barrel slot we do have the MK3 burst mod, and that is a great place to start for our first attachment in this overpowered class setup here. Next we've got the second attachment. We're going to go with the laser here. here. I think for a primary build, the 1 milliwatt laser is the better option here, whereas for a sidearm setup, we're better off with the 5 milliwatt version. Basically, both of these do give us hip fire accuracy and sprint to fire speed in varying amounts depending on which you do pick. I feel like if you are running the Akimbo Renettis as a primary, you really can't be giving away extra information to the enemy. Call of Duty is a game all about information, and every single piece of information that you do give to the enemy can get you killed. This can include footsteps, lasers, visible gun barrels and stuff like that, all shadows even included in this. These are all pieces of information that you can't really give away to the enemy, and you'll just end up dying if you do only have a super close range weapon. On the other hand, if you are running this as a sidearm, feel free to run the 5 milliwatt option. Basically, you'll only be pulling the weapons out at super close range where the information you give away won't be too relevant anyway, because you'll just get the kill basically. So for a primary setup, 1 milliwatt, and for a sidearm setup, 5 milliwatt. They're both great laser options, and they're both great as a second attachment in this class setup here. Next, we do have the lightweight trigger, of course, and with this we do get a huge boost to our fire rate, which is really important for our follow-up shots. This also combines with the fire rate boost that we do get from the MK3 burst barrel, especially if the enemy doesn't drop after 1 or 2 bursts. There isn't really an awful lot else to say here. Firing more bursts is always going to be more powerful than firing less bursts. Pretty much all of the boosts that we do get from our attachments are doubled with the Akimbo perk, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but at the ideal ranges for combat with this, we really only should need 1 or 2 bursts, but when you're further away, you might need a few more shots. So the lightweight trigger is a really important attachment to allow us to basically fire all 27 of our rounds super quickly. So for this class setup here, we need this, and this is a must-have attachment in the 3rd slot for us here. Next, we actually do have a pretty crucial attachment for this class for sure. It seems like all the attachments on these pistol setups are super crucial, but this one specifically, we do have the 27 round mags in the ammo slot. Having and firing more bullets is a good thing, obviously, especially when you've only got 15 rounds by default, which is, if we do some simple math here, only 5 bursts with each weapon, which is typically enough to get like 1 or 2 kills, but if more enemies do come around the corner, we are finished. This is where the 27 round mags come in, 9 bursts per weapon, stacking with the Akimbo perk, and also we get more bullets than we could ever imagine or use in one life with the fully loaded MP5. This enables us to go pretty much forever, which is obviously super powerful, and despite the power level of having basically infinite ammo, this is a really simple attachment. So of course, we've got the ammunition slot with the 27 round mags, and this is a super powerful attachment in this game, and that's why we've chosen it as the 4th one in this class. And lastly, we've got, as you know, the Akimbo perk in the perk slot. With this, we get a second overpowered burst pistol. Every boost that we get from our attachments is doubled here, and this allows us to murder people pretty much straight away. Basically, at the right distance, the time to kill does become virtually 0. Sprinting around being aggressive, this is easily one of the more powerful attachments and class setups in the game. As I did mention earlier, you do have to unlock this, of course, and I believe you have to get 3 kills without dying with the Mo Money perk attached 5 times. Which is actually really easy. It's almost hilarious how powerful this is at the right ranges. I think I did have people arguing with me earlier when I released the videos for this about it not being actually that powerful. I mean, that's just not true, is it? Even if you're slightly further away from your target, you can still kill people semi-effectively. Like I said, if you do miss some bursts, you can still get a 2 to 4 burst kill with ranges of about 20 meters, which is pretty wild. So of course, in the last slot, the perk slot, we've got the Akimbo perk, and that brings this class together for sure. Alrighty, so this is our full class setup here with all the attachments that we've chosen. The Akimbo Renettis are probably the most hilarious weapons in the game at the moment, replacing the Akimbo Snake Shot in multiplayer. We'll have to test how powerful they are in Warzone, but I think they're pretty good there too. The burst mod does take a pretty average pistol and turn it into a close range monster. This is of course the rest of the class setup here as well. Nothing in the perk slot, lethal slot or tactical slot is super specific, and you can pretty much choose whatever you like here. We do just have of course EOD, Ghost and Tracker as our perks. C4 in the lethal slot, which is of course very interchangeable. You can pretty much take whatever you like here. And the tactical is of course the stim shot, which is the ever powerful, ever present option. Just get you that extra chance per life. But the real star of the show here is actually the MP5 with the fully loaded perk attached as well, just to get that extra little bit of a boost to our ammunition. We basically can shoot until the end of time with this because we just get so many. I think we get like 350 max bullets, which is pretty wild, especially when we only are allowed to have 27 per time in each gun. So like 54. So you basically get like 7-ish, 8-ish extra mags, which is pretty good. I'm guessing we'll see some nerfs for the Renetti in Season 4 once the weapon is out of the Battle Pass. I've got this running theory that they probably aren't too keen on nerfing active DLC weapons. No one's going to want to buy or unlock your Battle Pass if the weapons that they do get from it are really bad. Like, you wouldn't want to do that for sure. So maybe we'll see the nerfs in Season 4 if it's necessary. Primary versus secondary is always going to be a toss-up here. You can be seriously effective with both class setups, but I'm sure this is probably more effective as a secondary, as at least you'll have something else to fight outside of those 20-meter ranges, but on those close quarter maps like Shoot House, Shipment and stuff like that, you'll have a super fun time with this as a primary. So if you did enjoy this one and it did help you out at all shredding people with your Akimbo burst pistols, make sure you do leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here, of course. It really does help me out by letting me know that you are enjoying these class setups and other videos that we do put out. We did, of course, recently hit 1,460 subscribers, so 1,500 is right around the corner. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye!